Hi, good evening friends. How are you all? Hope you guys are doing very well. We are back with Dr. Alka's live talk, and today's topic is a very much in demand topic. Today's topic is how to raise happy and healthy teenagers.
Thank you very much, Khushbu, for this wonderful topic, how to raise happy and healthy teenagers. Now, when we talk about teenagers, parents often call me and they talk about their sob stories. The stories are not very pleasant because often there is a power struggle at home. There is a control battle which goes on. Who's going to control whom? Parents think they're still not big enough. Control should be in parental side. But children start thinking they are now into their senior adult stage of life and they think the control should be in their side. Now let me ask parents a question. Parents, as parents, what do you think your job is like? Often the parents will say, well, it is my job to make my teenager or my child a best human being. Some of them will say the best citizen. Some of them will say provide them with the best of the things so that they're successful in life. Some of them will say, well, we want to see them happy human beings and what not. Let me tell you, the list will not end here. But your job is not all this. Let me relieve you from all these strenuous roles and responsibility. Your job is only one, simple one. Love them abundantly. Love them enough. Love them even if dash dash dash. Love them no matter what happens dash dash dash. What does that mean? Let's try understanding, filling up the gaps. Love them even if they disobey me. Love them even if they're rusticated from school. Love them even if they break the law. Love them abundantly because love possesses miraculous power. It sounds little complicated, isn't it? And it also sounds very unpractical advice, that too coming from a psychologist. Yes, it comes from the bottom of my heart. Let us try doing that. Whatever is happening in the life of your children, especially your teenage children, how many things are under your control and how many things are under their control? How do they behave? Who controls it? Do you? No, they control it. Their attitude, is it under your control? It is under their control. Well, their behavior at school, under your control? No, under their control. Well, the kind of indulgence they have on social media, under your control totally? Despite of your trying hard, they maintain and find out their own schedules. Or forget about social media. Let's talk about their daily schedule. What time to go to bed, what time to get up, under your control? Then what is under your control? Are you able to control anything? You can control your own emotions. You can control your own reactions. You can control your own attitude. And you can control your own behavior. My dear parents, what is the fun of having that struggle where you don't have control on the major things? And you know what? What would you want to control? Everything which is under their control. What do they want to control? Everything which is under your control. Because often teenagers come to my office and say, oh, my daddy, he doesn't know how to behave. You know how he talks very rude with me. So they try to control your domain and you try to control their domain. Let us understand one important, very significant. When you try to control their domain and they try to control your domain, the best is to sit down on a table of transactions. And then let's talk about, if you want them to control any one area which is under their control, and what would you control in your area which is under your control. And let's have a deal and then see both come forward to control. Because you raise your voice, You pass on negative comments. You try to restrict them despite of you knowing that it is very difficult. Now today I'm going to explain you a concept of maturity and control. If you draw an x-axis and a y-axis graph, and if you put control on y-axis and maturity on x-axis, as the person moves on maturity, the control by the self starts increasing. As the person becomes more mature, he should have more self-control. When the baby is born, as a small little baby, it's totally under your control because you are controlling everything. The way you feed your baby, the way you take care of your baby, the way you even interfere in every smallest possible thing. So there are 3 stages actually. Stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. Stage 1, and the children can be in any age, but psychologically he can be any of these stages. So let's evaluate and assess our children to understand them better. Stage 1, where the child is very selfish and the child is more consequence based. Stage 2, the child is a bit mature, he's more cooperative, but he believes in communication. Stage 3, where there is initiative and responsibility, and the child believes in consultation. So let's try understanding these 3 stages by one simple example. Nowadays we don't have domestic helps around. Nobody is there to do the household work. And you ask your child, or say your teenager, can you please clear the garbage and go and throw it in the garbage chute? If your child is in stage 1, you know what he says? What is this? Why garbage throwing is my responsibility? Why should I be doing? Am I the slave of the house? What is he doing? He's being selfish. What is he doing? He is actually looking at the consequence. And then, all right, I will only do it if you buy me a bar of a chocolate, or if you buy me my favorite toy. So he starts to negotiate with you. You're pretty upset because you think, as a mother, I'll be working day in and day out, and look at this teenager. He's been simply sitting and doing nothing, and just one small task of throwing the garbage in the chute, he has so many demands. That's your child of stage 1. What would your child of stage 2 do if you say, can you please throw the garbage? And he'll say, okay, I will. Cooperation is in operation, but communication. Can I please throw it after a while, because I'm playing a game of PUBG right now. So let me just finish this game up, please. I will throw it. Maybe by the time he finishes his game, he forgets about it totally. But he agrees to do it, but he normally negotiates for some more time. Or I'm on a project, let me finish this, and then I will throw it. That's your child of stage 2. What is your child of stage 3? That's a child who believes in consultation, who's more responsible, who has an initiative. Can you please clear the garbage? He said, yes, mom, right now. After he goes and throws the garbage, he comes back. Can I help you with the dishes? Or would you need my help to lay the table out? That's a child who's more responsible and have initiative. Parents, come on, guard your children. Are they in stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3? If they are in stage 1, you can't expect them to take to stage 3. You have to take them first to stage 2 and then to stage 3. Stage 3 children are very responsible children. Give them any liberty you want to, because they are responsible and mature, and the control, they can take it and play that control responsibly. But if your child is still in stage 1, he does not require self-control. You need to control him and then mature him and make him understand his behavior. And once he starts responding that way, then certainly you can ease out the control to him. The second stage, you can try the control giving in their hand, but under your supervision. So control and maturity go hand in hand. The way they behave, the more control they should be assigned to. Isn't it a simple job? Do it and enjoy it. And also know the personality type of your teenagers, because if they are eagle types, Disc analysis. Dominant, influential, steady and compliant are the four types. If they are eagle types, they look for more control in their hands. But if they're dove types, they're okay if you are controlling them. So the dove type of a personality are very compliant type. They're people pleaser. Disc D is dominant types. Those are eagle types, achievers, were very bullish, and as well as influential are peacock types, attention seeker, center of attraction. Last is compliant types, which are out type, very organized and very structured. Know whose parent are you. Gone is the era when we believed one size fits all. So let's know our children better and choose the right parenting strategies just tailored out for them. Wish you powerful parenting. Know how mature they are and then release the control based on their maturity. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for being a part of this audience today. And let me thank all those who've been sending positive comments and are talking about that they've been benefited either after our regular webinars or after this free talk. I wish you a very powerful parenting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us the tips and helping us out with our problems and our issues. There are some parents who are wanting some answers. How do I teach responsibility to my teen, as I see that he's so self-centered at present?
Very, very good question. If your teenager is self-centered, that means that over the years, that is what we are cultivating in him. We are responsible. First thing, check on the language you use. Very often the parents come with a very argumentative kind of language. You are very self-centered. You never follow instructions. You are a big liar. You language to be eliminated immediately. Start using I language. What is that I language? I feel very sad when you answer back to me. I feel very hurt when you are not there when I need you. All the you language need to be converted into I language. See the difference. Start looking at half full, then half empty. And what is this half full? You say, oh doctor, my child is not giving me even a single reason to appreciate him. Have the microscope in hand. Look for them doing small good things and make it sound big. Acknowledge it. Do the descriptive praise. See the difference. You're rolling out the coin to the other side. Use it and it works. We all love appreciation. So do they. When you start become very judgmental, very critical, they get inside a shell. If you become very appreciative and use descriptive praise, they open up and they're there to listen to you, but use not the argumentative language, but I language, not you language. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. We have one more question. How do I determine my teenager's love language, and how do I be able to give it to her in case it is not that simple?
All right. It's almost a common question like the first question. Love language. Yes, love is not in words, but love is in actions. If your child cares, your child participates. And as I explained, stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, assess your child today. Which stage is he in? If he's a stage 1 child, his language is very consequence based. So you need to see that you support him, guide him, and take him to the next level by using not the you but the I language, and by using descriptive praise. You will be amazed. Focus on half full, not half empty, and you will be amazed to see how he slides from one stage to the second stage, and start giving them responsibilities. Nowadays the servants are not around. You want their help, but you don't want to put it in words, and then you keep sulking and feeling irritated within yourself that nobody is helping me. Please come out of it. Put your thoughts into words. They will follow your instructions. Thank you very much.
Uh, I hope Miss Anne gets benefited by this advice. We have Miss Tina Singh asking a question. How how do I teach my children who are age of 12 and 10 to be away from screen time as they are too much engrossed in this apart from their school time?
Very, very good question. Tina, there was a time when the school was talking about no screen time. Today, the school itself has become the screen time, isn't it? See how the things change. When we talk about the screen time, it is the need of an hour today. The children need to attend their online classes. I do understand, but a lot of them love to be clinging on to screens beyond that time, which is not very good for their eyes, and particularly the screen develop them as loners, as children who are isolated from the community and the friends. Well, how you can do that is you can control this screen time, and as they're just 10 and 12, Tina, I would strongly recommend that you start organizing their social skills. But nowadays, even socialization happens online because we all are locked down. We are within the four walls of a home. And we really wonder what can we do in socializing with the screen time? Well, arrange their pajama parties, get connected with their friends, set the Zoom timing. Maybe you can watch a movie on a Netflix together, use the party time of Netflix, be on Zoom, but let them interact with their friends because social interaction is very important, even if it is happening through the screen. Instead of they being isolated and playing some games to themselves, it's better that they socialize. Arrange their birthday parties, arrange their get-togethers, invite their friends on the Zoom get-togethers, have their talent search done, have some kind of a group game being played online. So be a creative mother, let them enjoy those sessions. They will forget about those isolation time on screen. Wish you powerful parenting.
Thank you, ma'am. We have another question from Miss Anne. As a working mother, how do I find and provide quality time with my child, wherein I also need to rest after the day's work?
Very good question, and it is not the quantity of the time but the quality time, and the quality time is very important. If you mind your own language, the little time you spend with your growing child, but if you look at half full then half empty, if you use I language, that is what quality time basic characteristics are. So whatever little time, if you believe in giving them a tight hug, let them feel the warmth of the mother, where you tell them time and again that you love them and you love them in abundance. The only one thing which is your job is just to love them, and love them even if dash, even if they're not helping you, even if they're not good at school, even if they disobeyed you, but you love them. Love has a miraculous power, and if you are able to convey that to your growing child, you will have amazing life. Wish you powerful parenting.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I know we are over the time, but there are a lot of questions coming. This last question, can we please do it and then we can move on? Yeah.
Sure.
What mixture ratio percentage of love can be used to appreciate and punish our children? By
Well,
Rajan.
I don't believe in punishment at all. I only believe in negative reinforcement. A wanted behavior should be positively reinforced, and a negative behavior should have a negative reinforcement. What is negative reinforcement? Negative reinforcement is denial of something which they love, not providing them something which they love to have if they come up with an unwanted behavior. But I do not suggest you to use any form of a punishment, and especially physical punishment is a big no. And let me tell you, parents, that whatever you expect them to do, You be the role model for that. If you are an aggressive parent, if you are angry with your child, you raise the high tone voice and then you expect your child to just be very silent, very polite, very gentle. They don't listen to what you say, but they watch what you do and they follow you. So just be the right role model and you will enjoy it. Thank you very much. The time has really gone beyond the clock. It was just a 15-minute session, but I wish you all powerful parenting. We have loads of free webinars coming up. We will be putting the details of all our forthcoming webinars, and then we want that you attend our webinars and benefit from them.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Miss Anne has said thank you and has wished you a happy Mother's Day in advance.
Oh, all right, and wish you all a happy Mommy's Days. Make that day a special for your lovely children who you are parenting. 3 quick reminders. No you language, I language. Don't talk about argumentative, you do this and you do that. No, I don't like it. Talk about your feelings. Look at half full, not half empty. Use descriptive phrase. Be the role model, the kind of the behavior you expect them to follow. Wish you all powerful parenting. Thank you very much. Thanks, Tans.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming here and giving us the wisdom. We'll see you on Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you on Sunday.